So now that we are starting to engage with people and make them want to check out our profile, we need to convert them into followers. And the thing to keep in mind with your profile is that it's a landing page. If I go to my website, sorry for plugging my website again, guys, but if you go to my website, you can see there's a headline, there's an explanation of what we do, and then there's a big button. And the goal of this page is to make people click that button. And this whole page is built around that. On your profile, it's exactly the same. It should be all in the purpose of make people click the follow button. So how do we actually do this? First thing you need to do is you need to use your real name and profile picture. Because if you don't show your face, if you are anonymous, or if you look like you're anonymous, it's 10 times harder to make people feel connected to you. And especially with this strategy where we are building relationships heavily, if you build relationships, but your profile is just a random letter or a random logo that you found online or a random pic, it's not going to help you much. Because even though people will connect with you when you tweet to them, they might not feel like they want to get to know you. They don't know your name, they don't know your face. It's going to be very confusing and it's going to hurt you a lot. That's also why building a brand account, it's much harder than building a personal account. So if you're hesitating and you have trouble getting followers, even though you're doing everything right in discourse, it might be because of this. Make sure you use a profile pic and your real name. Now, the second thing to focus on is the bio. So the bio is this thing here that describes what you're about. And the number one thing to remember here is it's not about you, it's about them. The bio is here to give them a reason to follow you. So for example, for me, my bio comes in 3 parts. The very first thing I do is I establish credibility. So I say, I come from a software background when I was making good money, and now I'm building a startup with my wife. And that's very important because the audience I build is composed of startup founders. So by saying I'm bootstrapping Logology with my wife, I'm instantly creating a relationship with them. They can see that we're the same. Both of us are creating startups. So that's already pretty attractive to make them want to follow me. Now, the second part of it is I make a joke. I say my father-in-law doesn't approve, which is true actually, but which is also one of the first memes I made back more than a year ago that was successful. That was a joke about my father-in-law. That got me my first success, and I noticed it was resonating strongly with my audience. So that's why I added it to my bio, because I thought it's going to give people a very clear sense of what I'm about, which is I make jokes, but I also tell pretty relatable stories, because a lot of startup founders have this experience of not having support from their families. And the last part is the most important reason why you follow me. And that's I create 1 meme per day about the startup journey. So that means if you click follow, you get 1 meme per day that I created. So it's kind of like a no-brainer. If you like having fun and you're in the startup industry, you want to follow me because you know you're going to have fun every day. So that's a very strong reason to follow me. Now, I'm on the fun and entertaining side, but let's look at somebody who looks more like an authority, somebody who's like more serious, because you might not want to make jokes all day like me. You might want to be more serious and more focused on sharing knowledge about your niche. So in that case, let's check another account. Let's say, for example, Justin. And here you can see, his bio follows kind of like a similar process. It ends with why you should follow them, tweets and threads about the process. Second is he's building credibility by saying building a portfolio of businesses to 5 million revenue. So that's pretty fucking badass. He also actually, uses the profile banners to establish credibility with the number of subscribers. And the last thing is the diversified solopreneur. Again, that's one way to stand out. He's standing out with something that I have never seen elsewhere. He's calling himself the diversified solopreneur. So as you can see, the formula is pretty simple. Is first, you establish credibility in your niche. Second, you make yourself stand out with, it can be a joke or a unique way to describe yourself. And third, you give people a reason to follow you. And if you do these 3 things, you give people a very strong reason to click that follow button. Another thing that's a bit less important but still matters is the profile banner. Now, The reason why my profile banner doesn't look that amazing is because I actually want to keep a chill and accessible vibe. So that's why I didn't go for something with like very strong fonts, colors and like very clear thing. But I still kept it, in the same color scheme of my profile pic, which is black and white. And I made it about a reason to follow me, which is it's basically a joke about me building a startup. So it's again the same kind of message that goes in my bio and in my tweets. So your profile banner is really just here to support your bio and what you're about. Now, another thing that's not exactly tied to your profile, but that's the most important part of it, is what you tweet. If you look at my profile, you can see very clearly what I'm about. Meme, 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 story about my startup, meme, story about my startup, meme, fun joke about startups, meme, story about my startup, meme, story about my startup. That's actually me talking about this course that's about to come out. Pretty meta, right? Because now that you're watching this, it's already came out. Okay, anyway, meme, story about my startup, meme, and so on. This is actually very important to make people follow me. Because if I had been retweeting random stuff and in my profile you would have a hard time finding what I'm about, you wouldn't be following me as easily. By focusing only on a very specific type of content and not retweeting random shit all the time or tweeting about random stuff, people know exactly what they're going to find. Again, it's a landing page. When somebody goes on this page, they need a strong reason to follow you. Profile pic, name, bio, and then they need to see tweets that they're interested in. So if your last 10 tweets are just random retweets about topics that they're not interested in or not super high quality content, it's not going to make them want to follow you. Now, another very important thing to use is the pin tweet. It's a tweet that you can put on top of your profile at all times, and you can only have one. So it's very important. The way you add a pin tweet is you go to any tweet you have and you click there, and you click pin to your profile, and it's going to replace whatever you have up there. Now, the crucial thing about pin tweet is that, again, we're back to the landing page thing. It's the first thing that people are going to check when they go to your profile. And if what they see isn't making them want to follow you, they probably won't. Your pin tweet must be basically your best tweet. So usually for a pin tweet, what you do is you find your most successful tweet because it has a lot of credibility, lots of likes. So it establishes you as an account that tweets amazing stuff and that's worthy of following. But also because this is likely to be the tweet that's most convincing. Because if it's your most successful tweet, it means people resonated with it a lot. And if they resonate with it a lot, it's going to make them likely to follow you. The only exception is if you haven't had a successful tweet in a long time, don't keep a pinned tweet for like 1 year. Because if you keep it for too long, it's just going to feel like you're desperate. Because like you have a pinned tweet up there for so long, it means you haven't had a successful tweet in a long time. So for example, me, this one was a month ago. And if a couple months from now, I haven't done a better tweet, which is likely because this one was so huge, I'm going to have a hard time to do better. Well, I will still replace it with another pin tweet because I don't want people to think I only had like one successful tweet, ages ago, and I'm still relying on that. So it's important to switch it, from time to time. Now, let me tell you a fun story about my pin tweet. A couple of months back, I thought of changing my pin tweets. Instead of focusing on bringing value to people with either a good story about a startup or a good meme, I thought I would use a tweet that promotes my startup. So I dig up a tweet where I was talking about my startup and promoting it with a link, and I started using it as my pinned tweet. And in just one day, I started getting way less followers per day. That was shocking how quickly I got less followers because of this. So that's one of the things that convinced me to focus on giving value to people. And we're back again to this idea of the landing page. You are not here to promote yourself. You are here to bring value so that people want to follow you. And it's actually way better to do this because you will grow faster, get more followers, and then when you tweet about promoting yourself from time to time, you will have more engagement and more people on it. One last thing to look into is the link in your bio. The thing to keep in mind is that if you have multiple things to talk about, make sure you only use one link. Because if you use more than one link, it gets very confusing. Let me give you an example. Let's look at the profile of Tony, which is the creator of Blackmagic, the tool I keep recommending you. if you look at his bio, you see all the stuff he's building. You basically have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 links plus 3 hashtags. So that's 8 things I can click on, and even have a newsletter, so that's 9. If I go to this profile, what I feel is I'm overwhelmed. I don't know what to click on. So all I know is that it's somebody who builds a lot of product. So that's cool because it makes me want to follow him, because I'm a startup founder, I build products, so I want to follow him as well. But on the other hand, he's probably losing a lot of traffic because I don't know what to click on. And on landing pages in general, you have this very simple rule. You don't give people a choice. You just give people one link, and by giving people one link, you are sure that they all click on it. Else, they will be confused, they will hesitate, and when they hesitate, they don't click. Now, look at Daniel Vassallo, which is another account with a lot of projects. Well, he used only one link. He used something called bio link to create a page that shows all of his products, but in a way where you can actually decide what to look into. And now an interesting fact to prove my point is that I measure the traffic my website gets, and I know how many people come from Twitter every day. And I noticed very quickly that since I have only one link in my bio, the number of people who come to my website from Twitter matches the number of followers I had that day. So let's say today I get 100 followers, I'm going to get about 100 visits to my website. Why? Because when people click on my profile, they check me out, they see, oh, what he's doing. And because there's only one link and it's very attractive to click on, they check it out. So that's why the more followers I gain in a day, the more new people visit my website. Very simple. So be very careful when you add links to your bio to only have one. And if you have multiple things to promote, let's say more than 2 or 3, make sure you use a link page so that people can just click on that and then decide what to look into. If you want to make your profile even more awesome, I highly recommend you check out this app called Birdie. And what this app does is going to A/B test your Twitter profile. So what this means is, let's try it. This is my bio, and now I can do a different bio. Let's say instead of talking about logology, I want to talk about my Twitter course. So I do, I made my startup successful thanks to Twitter. Boom. And then because I want to promote it, I'm going to change my website and do dagorenouf.com, how to dominate Twitter. And here I have the 2 versions of my profile. I can also check different things like profile pic, banner, name, location. I can literally change almost everything. And then I click start. And once I do, what happens is if you go to my profile, you will either see version A or B. And over time, as more and more people check my profile, Birdie is going to gather data and let me know how many people from version A became followers and clicked on my profile, and how many people from version B became followers and clicked on my profile. So it's going to be able to know which version performs better. And once it's over, so it's going to take a couple of days or weeks, depending on how much people you have coming to your profile. So let's just stop this real quick and then go back to the homepage, and you see this is what it's going to look. It's going to tell you conversion rates of this profile and specific number of followers that you got from this profile. So it's a very neat way if you're in doubt or you want to retry your bio or you want to make tons of experiments, and very quickly you can build a profile that's irresistible to follow.